Hey guys, thanks again for watching the last video. It was really amazing talking about my journey, my personal credit card journey, and how I'm going to help you, and also a little bit of a tidbits and ground rules. That was really cool to be able to explain that. Remembering how I thought about credit cards, meaning like you think about it like kind of like a debit card where you don't spend any money that you don't have so you don't get into more debt. And also remembering that you're fighting against billion-dollar companies, so don't think you're beating the game, you're really just playing the game. You just gotta play it by the rules and you won't get hurt. Now I'm offering this course because I went through similar things, trying to figure out how to balance my budget and also be able to enjoy my life and go and travel. So that's why I'm really teaching this lesson, and I'm giving you the second one for free because I really think it will help you out, and you'll also be able to do the free travel just like I do. And I'm going to show you a little bit more in this video. So in this video we're going to talk a little bit about credit scores and how we break it down, and realizing a couple of different cool tricks that we can take to be able to raise our credit score. Like I've actually seen people jump their credit score by over 100 points, and someone that didn't have credit score at all came into the country and had a credit score starting off at 750. So I'm going to show you that secret right here in this video. So I'm excited, you're excited, so let's get right into this second lesson. Actually part or the second topic in the course, which is basically your credit score, right? So before you can get into credit games, I just talked about all the pitfalls that you need to watch out for beforehand. But then something that you have to factor in is to get any of these credit cards, first of all, you have to get a credit score, which I'm going to explain a couple of the neat tips that I have for credit scores to be able to jump it, because I have people that have jumped their credit score over 100 points in a couple of months, which is insanity. So let's hop into this section right now, right? So a couple of things I want to go over is with Credit Karma. So you want to watch your credit score, and one of the free tools out there is Credit Karma, which I think is very awesome app to look at. You're able to see your credit score and the different factors that go into it. I think it's really cool. Now the different factors that go into it depends on the type of credit you're looking into getting. So I logged on to the website so you can see a couple of the things that I was showing you, and frankly, stuff like this happens. You know, you drop 3 points. It's not a big of a deal, really. So I wanted to show you the different credit factors here that we can see. So the credit factors you can see is payment history, which I have never missed a payment. Excellent. You have credit card usage, which I could kind of explain this. Payment history is when you pay it. Credit card usage is how much of your total credit you are currently using, which for me it's a little bit. I have about this is my limit, so I have 69,000 credit utilization, and you can kind of see how much I have on each, the different credit limits and whatnot, right? So the utilization is fairly low, and that's why I only lost about 3 points, although I kept a couple a couple things on credit there, right? So then we also have derogatory marks. This is when you're like reporting to collections and such as and things like that. That's when you get derogatory marks. Then you have your credit age, right? So your credit age is how long you have credit, and I can kind of show you what I was saying about 6 or 7 years. I have of experience here, which this is my first. This is the card that I was telling you about, the Mid Florida. Then we have the Capital One, and I have the different Amazon account ones, and then I told you about the one that I didn't necessarily want to get, the Shell one, but it helps me with my overall credit age, which credit age is and it kind of shows you the impact that it has on there, and credit age is pretty good. So having about 4 years of credit age is not bad, but you can see here is listed about 9 credit cards that I have, and I combined my other credit cards with my wife's, which she gets some of the ones that I don't want to take too much of a hit on mine, so she takes on hers, which I've helped her with her credit score as well, which is pretty good. She started off at like 650 or something to that effect, and now she's around where I'm at. Because of the hack, or not necessarily a hack, a thing that I will explain in a little bit here. But you have the utilization, And then you also have your total number of accounts, which you can see these are low impact. So the things you really want that causes you pause, or the ones that you want to focus on, is your payment history. You should never miss a payment. Also your credit card usage, which over time it becomes less and less of an impact because of the amount of credit you have, or the amount of credit you can spend, your credit line. Then derogatory marks, you want to make sure you keep everything off of collections. You don't want to get anywhere close to things like that, which I've actually ran into a situation like that, but I got it removed because it wasn't really my fault, and that's why it says 0 right now. Then we have the credit age, which is medium impact, but it's still fairly important, and these things you don't necessarily have to worry about. Hard inquiry is, the thing when somebody's trying to find out what's on, like if you're a trustworthy person to give a card or a loan or whatever that is. So this factors in, and this is what the TransUnion, and then you have Equifax. So they all rate themselves differently. And I'll go back there to show you what I mean. So then you have TransUnion, Experian, and then Equifax. These are all different credit bureaus, but this doesn't just stop there, because what we see on Credit Karma is actually a Vantage, which is another way of just using of saying, okay, this person is trustworthy to use. So it doesn't tell you exactly what credit bureau or credit cards will use per se, but it gives you a good idea, because there's different ways to do it, which I'll talk about in a second here. Yeah, so there's different ways, and the ways that we have is like FICO. So FICO, there's numbers on FICO because they have different generations of FICO, but FICO is another one that is easier to see on the Experian app than it is to see on Credit Karma. But the FICO 8 is actually the thing that they typically use for mortgages and whatnot, and then they use different ones for your auto, your loan, and then your personal loans, or your auto, your mortgage, and your personal loan. So it gets a little more complicated. We don't really want to get too far in the weeds on this, because not all of them apply to getting a credit card. These things are not necessarily what you're here for. So we're gonna move on from that. So we talked about the different credit factors, right? You have the different things that I showed you, that some of them have better than not and others don't, right? So some are weighted higher than others. But what we're seeing here is there's kind of two ways to go down this tree. So there's the normal way of just doing it slowly at a time, and I think that is probably the better of the two ways, because it's the longer you get to understand how credit cards work and use it responsibly. And then you have the boosted way. Now this is the way that you can jump up 100 points, or going from literally not having credit to having a 750 credit score, which is this is a real person that I'm talking about here, that I helped with their credit score. They went from no credit at all, meaning they just moved into the country, to having a 750. And I was like, dang, I wish I knew this. And it's authorized user. So this is a cool little trick here. And obviously you want to use this with care. You don't want to get somebody's. So an authorized user is basically someone that can use your credit card that you authorize. That's what's called an authorized user, right? Now, so how you can do this is by just telling your credit card company, hey, I want to get this person on my credit card. And then what you typically have to do after that, as the authorized user, you must tell the credit card you just got added to report the credit history of that specific credit card to the credit bureaus. I know that's a mouthful. Basically, you can inherit the credit history and the credit line of another person's credit card. Which, if that person that you're getting to be the authorized user of, if their credit is very good, then yours automatically also becomes very good. So this is what I'm saying. You can kind of use that, and that's one of the strategies I use with my wife. Is I played both games, the long and the short game. So she had like a 650 coming in, and then I added her as a credit authorized user on a couple of my credit cards, and told them to report it to the credit bureau, and it jumped hers from I think it was 650 to about 720 at the time, which was, obviously that's a pretty big jump. And then After that, now, you know, she's been, you know, we're playing the normal long game, doing our payments and whatnot, and now she's about 760, which if you need proof, I can show you. But that's kind of how we get to raise our credit score there. I hope you really learned a lot about credit scores and taking note of that cool little tidbit of knowing that if you add authorized users, you'll be able to jump your credit score. Obviously, you want to use caution with that, but it's really cool to be able to jump up your credit score if you really need that extra boost, right? I know some of you are wondering like, man, this is a lot of information. How am I going to be able to stomach all of this information? Well, in my course, I'm going to teach you it step by step so you are not lost by any means, and you're going to be able to have all of it, and we're going to give you everything that you need to set you up for success. I know some of you are wondering, man, this is kind of hard to understand at times. You know, I wonder if I'm gonna be able to go through it and understand everything well. The great thing is we're gonna have your back, so you're gonna have all the support you need to be able to take care of all your questions, because we're gonna allow you to ask us questions so that we can help you to be best prepared to get your free travel and really experience all of the dreams that you have for yourself. And don't forget that we're gonna put out another video. We're gonna talk about even some more juicy content so you can be better prepared and see what our course has to offer you and help you get your free travel. And we're gonna be talking about this lofty thing of points. Like we hear the term points going around, but I'm gonna explain a lot about how points work, which ones to get, and jump into a lot of the detail on how you can actually get this free travel, which is gonna be super exciting. So look forward to that next Tuesday and see you then.